It's one of the most infamous moments in Super Bowl history.
Rushing forward, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground, and it's still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line.
And just like that, his entire legacy ruined.
The criticism is jump on the ball. That's it.
On his critical fumble in the fourth quarter, he did not even try to recover the ball.
Cam Newton allegedly did not go after a fumble. If you look at the video, it did not look like he did, but maybe he had a hurt shoulder.
Just jump on the ball and give yourself a chance.
But here's the thing. Cam Newton's story is so much bigger than that moment. And if you look closely, what happened after that Super Bowl actually says something profound about how we judge athletes and about how we let their worst moments overshadow everything else.
53 years of waiting, of hoping, of dreaming, of coming so close. It's all over.
I mean, on talent alone, Cam Newton was a no-brainer. He was the consensus #1 overall pick in the 2011 NFL Draft, after capturing both the SEC title and the BCS National Championship with Auburn, and winning the Heisman Trophy by a landslide.
The winner is Cam Newton of Auburn University.
You're talking about a Heisman Trophy winner that has not thrown a single incomplete pass on the opening drive this season, and one that hasn't committed a turnover in the fourth quarter.
Newton got there, touchdown.
Cam entered the league as one of the most decorated prospects of all time. But for all of his accomplishments, many football experts wondered out loud whether he'd be worth the investment.
Even more focus, as if that's possible, on Cam Newton.
And let's start with Cam Newton. The Heisman Trophy winner tells Peter King during Combine Week, quote, "I see myself not only as a football player, but an entertainer and icon."
Not in the NFL. You might be at Auburn, but you're not in the NFL.
The Carolina Panthers, fresh off a league worst season in 2010, didn't hesitate.
With the first pick in the 2011 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Cam Newton, quarterback, Auburn.
People saw Cam coming from Auburn, and Cam had, a short haircut. He had the suits. He looked like $1 million.
Whole transition from the collegiate level to the NFL, I understand that preparation is going to be key. And that's part of the maturation process. And, I'm willing to make that step, and we'll see how it goes.
But Cam coming out of Auburn, I think he and his team wanted to present him a certain way as the #1 pick in the draft, and they wanted teams to be able to see Cam as someone that could be the face of the franchise, which he was.
With the first overall pick, they put their franchise in Cam's hands. And from his very first game, he proved them right.
On the third down, here comes the blitz. Newton puts it up. He's got a man, and he completes it. Steve Smith is going all the way. Touchdown, Carolina.
In his debut, Newton shattered Peyton Manning's record for most passing yards on opening day with 422. 1 week later, against the Green Bay Packers, he broke his own record.
Guns it long downfield. Steve Smith grabs it. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful.
By the end of his rookie season, Cam had thrown for over 4,000 yards, earned a Pro Bowl selection, and was crowned Offensive Rookie of the Year.
The AP Offensive Rookie of the Year is Cam Newton.
However, like every great rookie career, the sophomore slump is real. But by 2013, he was back to form, leading Carolina to a 12-4 record and their first playoff appearance in 5 years.
But in 2013, they won the NFC South, had a winning record, lost in the first round of the playoffs.
Then came the offseason of 2014, a turning point not for just Cam, but for the entire Panthers franchise. The front office released longtime star wide receiver Steve Smith Sr., a franchise legend, after reports of growing tension between him and Cam over whose team it really was.
We bumped heads for the obvious reason. He's the first overall pick, and he was a star where he was. I was 30-something, 31 years old. I had 3 kids. So we were 2 people in 2 different phases of their life.
Really, I think the organization felt like for Cam to flourish, they needed Steve to step down.
Smith was the heart and soul of the old Panthers, but the message was clear. This was Cam Newton's team now. That same year, an ankle ligament surgery in March 2014.
Trey, he's going to have surgery in Charlotte tomorrow with Dr. Robert Anderson, the noted foot specialist, and they are projecting a 4-month recovery. If we extrapolate that time, that puts him on pace to be ready right around the time that training camp begins. And it's interesting to see they lost Steve Smith, they lost Ted Ginn, they lost Brandon LaFell, they don't have a starting receiver on their roster right now, and now Cam Newton is going to miss all of the OTAs, and hopefully, for the Panthers' sake, he'll be ready in time for training camp.
Then a frightening car crash in December that left him with 2 fractured vertebrae.
On to that star NFL player, Carolina Panthers quarterback Cam Newton, out of the hospital now after fracturing his back. An accident that flipped his truck. Newton lying on a stretcher. His spine fractured actually in 2 places, then rushed to the hospital. There is a lot of talk tonight whether he'll play soon again. ABC Steve Osensami this evening.
Most quarterbacks would have struggled to recover from that. But Cam? He still managed over 3,000 passing yards and 18 touchdowns, becoming the only player in NFL history with at least 3,000 passing yards and 500 rushing yards in 4 straight seasons.
In 2014, they were 3-8-1, but they had a late run, won 4 games in a row, edged into the playoffs, winning the NFC South for the 2nd year in a row.
We were able to beat Arizona right here at home, growing in confidence, went to Seattle, put up a tough fight against the Seattle team that went out and dominated in the Super Bowl that year. But also, it gave us that motivation that we needed for that next season. Like, we get a piece here, we get a piece there. This is going to be a special football team.
And in 2015, the Panthers made their commitment official, signing Newton to a 5-year, $103.8 million contract extension. The Cam Newton era had truly begun. And this new era, it would start with a fight. Today's video is sponsored by DraftKings. Okay, so now that football is in full swing, every week feels like a must win. But check this out. If you want to get even closer to the action, I've teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook to hook you up with something special. Okay, here's the deal. New customers bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. That's it. $5 in, and you get $200 in bonus bets to play right away. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, sign up, and use my promo code ANOTHERSPORTS. See, what I love is how many ways you can play. You can build same-game parlays for a shot at bigger payouts, or jump into live betting while the games are actually happening. And if sports betting isn't available in your state yet, no worries. You can still join the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports for a shot to win cash prizes. So one more time, new customers bet $5, you'll get $200 instantly in bonus bets when you sign up using my promo code ANOTHERSPORTS. Thank you, DraftKings, for sponsoring this video, and the crown is yours.
Cam Newton and Josh Norman, a little training camp battle there in Spartanburg, South Carolina. That's video you don't see too often.
During training camp, Cam Newton and cornerback Josh Norman got into a little scuffle after practice play turned chippy.
Every year you have fights, and you need to get the aggression out, like pent up energy, and you're stressed out about whether or not you're gonna make the team or not, or if you're gonna be good that year. That fight was none of that. It was, nah, I'm him, and I know you think you're him too, so we need to figure out like how this is gonna balance out.
He threw it, I picked it off, went back, and then I was like, what's all that chirping about now? I don't hear any of that stuff, and so
when I threw the pick, J-No had like stiffed on me, and he's so hard that my face mask kind of like came like down over my face. So I'm like, hold up.
The Cam that a lot of people do see is he's smiling, he's joking, he's jovial, but he does not like to be made fun of.
When he scored the touchdown or whatever, that's when I was like, hey man, stop that. Now all that gonna get your ass whooped. One thing led to another, and then you see the rest was history.
Newton never wanted to back down, ended up on top of Norman before teammates pulled him apart.
Cam had Josh hung up like a little baby. Like, hey man, you want these problems?
It wasn't a great look in the moment, but in hindsight, it symbolized something bigger. This team wasn't going to be pushed around. Cam wasn't going to be pushed around.
Every single practice was supposed to be enthused, and everybody's supposed to act like they want to be out here. You ain't want to be out here, man. Don't even come. Don't even come. When you out here, come out here to practice and practice with a damn intensity, like we're trying to win the damn Super Bowl, not just the damn division. We're trying to do something that ain't never been done.
See, the thing about this Panthers team that rarely gets mentioned was that they were dangerous in ways people didn't fully understand yet. They were already 2-time defending NFC South champions, but without the crushing weight of sky-high expectations. Then, just when optimism started to build, Cam's number 1 wide receiver, Kelvin Benjamin, tore his ACL in camp.
Panthers wide receiver Kelvin Benjamin certainly looks like a player who is primed for stardom. He had over 1,000 receiving yards in his rookie season, but today in a joint practice with the Miami Dolphins, Benjamin went down, immediately grabbed his left knee, was rolling around in pain, and ultimately was carted off the field, not the start the Panthers wanted in those joint practices. His 2015 season is over.
For many, it looked like the Panthers' chances were gone before the season even began. But that's the thing about Cam Newton. He thrives when you count him out.
It's opening day. It's Carolina at Jacksonville as we welcome to the world the 2015 Carolina Panthers.
Cam Newton to throw, fires in the end zone, touchdown, Jericho Patry.
The season opened with the scrappy win over the Jaguars, but it came at a cost. Luke Kuechly went down with a concussion that would sideline him for 3 games. Most teams will crumble under those blows. Carolina, they didn't. Cam leapt into the end zone against Houston with a somersaulting touchdown.
Diving into the end zone for the touchdown.
Josh Norman made a game-saving pick against the Saints.
And it's intercepted. Josh Norman.
And the defense terrorized the Buccaneers. By the bye week, the Panthers were 4-0.
I think at the time, it's like, okay, that's a cool little thing that they're doing in Charlotte, 4-0. Who cares? Because now they got to go to Seattle, which teams don't win at. And the Carolina Panthers don't beat the Seattle Seahawks.
Then came the real test. A trip to Seattle in Week 6 to face the 2-time defending NFC champs.
Panthers plan to shut up the 12th man, handle the Seahawks, and fly home 5-0.
It's a dogfight. We're back and forth. And then the play that everyone remembers is that ball to Greg.
In a back-and-forth kind of game, Newton orchestrated a late drive and threw the game winner to Greg Olsen, stunning the Seahawks 27-23.
By Cam Newton, by Mike Shula. To beat the champ, you got to knock him out.
He caught that ball, and it went from being deafening to just pin drop quiet.
Suddenly, Carolina wasn't just a team on a hot streak. They believed they could beat anyone, anywhere.
After that game, I told Steve Wilkes vividly, I said, the guy, almost like in The Matrix, where Neo's like, he's starting to believe. And that's what I felt with this team. It's like all of a sudden we won a game, and I saw the temperament. I saw the guys just like, they're starting to believe.
And yet, the critics didn't stop.
I'm not completely sold on Cam and Company. I'm sold on Cam. I'm not sold on and Company. I just don't know.
But with every win, the noise only made the Panthers louder. They dabbed, they danced, they celebrated like nobody else. Cam Newton wasn't just dominating football games. He was changing the culture of them.
If you mad that he's showboating or like celebrating against your team, you should probably talk to the defense and tell them to play better and don't allow him to do those things.
Cam Newton shows up when it's time. The bigger the moment gets, the more he shines. He finds a way to get the job done.
By Thanksgiving, America was watching.
Big one for me more than anything else was Dallas, okay? Tony Romo was coming back. We were undefeated. They had a losing record. They were the favorite.
People have this game circled on Carolina's schedule as the first game that they're going to lose.
You can't look at that Cowboys overall record. They're 3-7, but you have to look at the fact when Tony Romo's there, they're 3-0. Yeah.
How much you guys look into odds and stuff like that, but is it sort of disrespectful to see you guys go into this matchup as a 1-point underdog when you're undefeated?
On the national stage in Dallas, the Panthers embarrassed the Cowboys, fueled by 2 first-half pick sixes.
From the pocket, he is picked off. It's intercepted by Kurt Coleman, and Coleman breaks the tackle. He's at the 10, gets around with them. He's going to find the end zone. Carolina, 59 seconds into the game, is on the board.
And a first and goal.
And it's Cam Newton tumbling in for another touchdown.
That's when the wave became undeniable. Carolina wasn't just winning. They were sweeping everyone up in the joy of it. Charlotte, the Carolinas, and fans around the country felt like they were part of something bigger than football.
Who is the best team, though, in the NFC?
Still give the edge to Carolina.
But I think this is a 3-horse race between Carolina, Arizona, and Seattle.
Definitely.
By December, the Panthers were chasing perfection. They reached 13-0 with a comeback win over the Saints and a shutout of the Falcons.
Out of time, airing it out, looking for Gann. He's got it! There's a flag, but he's gonna go!
Even when the Giants clawed back from a 35-7 deficit in Week 15, with Cam, again, leading a game-winning drive in the final seconds.
Newton can't take a sack. He's able to slide down at the 25, and they're going to give him a first down.
It's hard to get better than 14-0 when you only play 14 games. When you get down to it, Skip, and the numbers are very similar, 35-6, 33-10, 32-9.
Okay.
Undefeated.
Okay.
However, their undefeated season would come to an end when Carolina finally dropped a game in Week 16 against the Falcons.
Obviously, I know the fans and everyone, you're talking, let's go undefeated and all that. Don't get me wrong, we were trying to win all the games, but we just played terribly and it didn't go our way.
Relatively quickly, Newton in trouble. Hit, falls loose, recovered, Atlanta, game over.
They would finish the regular season with a 38-10 win against Tampa Bay to lock in a 15-1 record in the NFC's top seed. Then came the playoffs, and the Panthers looked even scarier.
End zone, Olsen, leaping catch for the touchdown.
Against Seattle, they erupted to a 31-0 halftime lead that left the stadium shaking.
Welcome to the most important game in the history of Bank of America Stadium. Welcome to the NFC Championship game.
Against Arizona, they absolutely dismantled the Cardinals 49-15 in the NFC Championship game.
Gets a block, touchdown. He's picked again. Kuechly for the touchdown.
By then, there was no debate. Cam Newton was the league's MVP, the undisputed best player in football. His blend of passing, rushing, leadership, and sheer energy made him unlike anything the NFL had ever seen. And the 17-1 Panthers were heading to Super Bowl 50.
This has been a fairy tale season all year long. This team has demonstrated toughness, unity, and an intoxicating joy.
By many, the Panthers were the odds-on favorites against the Denver Broncos and the old Peyton Manning. But from the very first snap, something felt off.
The crowd in a suburban stadium was not into the game. It didn't feel like a Super Bowl at that game. This just felt sterile. The whole game felt like, everyone there is someone who can afford $2,000 tickets.
Denver's defense, led by Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware, came at Newton like a tidal wave, bro. Every drop back, every read, every scramble felt rushed.
You get the strip sack and, they score. They score right away, right? And so now you're in the hole versus the top-ranked defense in the NFL.
Carolina's offensive line couldn't protect him. More specifically, right tackle Mike Remmers. Still, the Panthers trailed just 16-10 in the fourth quarter, very much alive with time left to stage one of Cam's trademark comebacks. And then, it happened.
Rushing forward, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground, and it's still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line.
Funny enough, the same play that cost the Panthers their only loss of the season would end up costing them the Super Bowl.
Listen, when you give up strip sacks, it's on everyone. It's on the offensive line, it's on guys not getting open, it's on the quarterback, it's on the backs, it's a collective failure.
Cam not jumping on the fumble looked terrible. In the moment, you're like, what are you doing?
That moment, that one hesitation, the one fumble, became the defining snapshot of his career.
I don't look back and say that, it's Cam's fault, because one thing I know for certain, had we not had Cam, we're never in that position anyway.
The Broncos scored soon after, sealing a 24-10 win. As confetti fell for Peyton Manning's storybook ending, Cam Newton walked off the field as the NFL's MVP, but also as the quarterback who didn't dive on the football.
Coming in, and it's got to be real tough for everybody in that locker room.
Load the box, force y'all to throw the ball. So you throw the football. That was the game plan. Load the box, one man outside. They got a couple.
In the days that followed, the discourse wasn't about the Panthers' magical season or Cam's brilliance. It was about the fumble.
But I think even more egregious, Rich, is the fact that he didn't go after that fumble.
The criticism is jump on the ball. That's it.
On his critical fumble in the fourth quarter, he did not even try to recover the ball.
I would never question Cam Newton's desire to win, nor would I question his toughness. I mean, think about, he was playing right after a car accident, okay?
You behave like a petulant little 2-year-old because you lost.
For years, everything Cam had accomplished, the records, the MVP, the dominance, was reduced to that one play. That single play became the shorthand of Newton's legacy. unfairly but powerfully. And in many ways, it marked the beginning of the fall. The 2016 season opened with hope, but Cam was never the same. He took constant hits, often unprotected by officials, and played through a concussion and lingering shoulder pain.
It's not my job to, question the officials. I really like this, officiating crew. So it wasn't something that I know they did intentionally, but it's not fun getting hit in the head.
That NFL officials decided last night, setting the tone and a precedent, you could take shots at Cam, and Cam is so big and so strong, they just sort of allow it.
His numbers dropped, the Panthers fell to 6-10, and the magic of 2015 seemed like a distant memory. By 2017, Newton was fighting through torn rotator cuff issues, eventually requiring surgery.
What's the deal? When is he going to be back on the field?
When he had the surgery end of March, they said 16 weeks before he could throw. That puts that timetable in the 3rd or 4th week of July, basically right at the start of training camp. So he won't be able to be on the field and throwing to Christian McCaffrey and Curtis Samuel, any of these new guys, until basically they all get to camp.
He still led the Panthers back to the playoffs, but they fell short in the wild card round. In 2018, he started red hot, completing nearly 70% of his passes under new offensive coordinator Norv Turner, only for his shoulder to give out again after a midseason injury. By the final weeks, Newton couldn't throw the ball more than 20 yards. Another surgery followed. Then came the foot injury in 2019, a Lisfranc fracture that ended his season after just 2 games. By the spring of 2020, the Panthers released him, turning the page on one of the most successful, if not the most successful era in franchise history.
Some breaking news for you. A week after telling him he can seek a trade, the Carolina Panthers are releasing quarterback Cam Newton.
What are the chances the Panthers regret this?
I'm so glad you brought that up, Molly. I think, yes, coming off a catastrophic injury, if he can get back to just what he was before this last injury, or most of it, there's a very good chance that Carolina regrets letting him go.
Cam Newton went on to sign with the New England Patriots as Tom Brady's replacement, but it was an uphill battle from the start. A pandemic-shortened offseason, a COVID diagnosis mid-year, and a depleted roster left him with little chance to succeed. By 2021, he returned briefly to Carolina, producing flashes of the old Superman, most memorably his rushing touchdown in Arizona.
Re-signed with the Panthers on Thursday. Just 3 days ago. McCaffrey split out wide to the right. Newton takes the snap, and he is in for a Panthers touchdown. Yes, he is. Wow.
But under a new coaching staff and limited knowledge of the system, it wasn't sustainable. The hits, the injuries, and the years of carrying an offense had taken their toll.
4-man rush. Cam in trouble. Down he goes. And the Washington defense ends the storybook return of Cam Newton to Carolina.
But Cam's story was never about perfection. It was about resilience, about how many times he was counted out and how many times he proved people wrong. Because your worst moments shouldn't define you, right? I mean, back in college, his career at Florida collapsed before it even began. A stolen laptop charge and Tim Tebow ahead of him on the depth chart seemed to slam the door shut. The felony charges were later dropped after Newton completed a pretrial program, but his relationship with Florida was broken. For many, that was the end of Cam Newton. But instead of disappearing, he went to Blinn College where he threw for nearly 3,000 yards and 22 touchdowns, leading the team to the 2009 National Junior College Championship. That second chance opened the door to Auburn, and once again, Newton seized it. Heisman Trophy that he almost wasn't eligible for because of another investigation that was later dismissed into his father's recruitment demands.
Yeah, Scott, the new developments include allegations of 2 specific things that Auburn quarterback Cam Newton and his father Cecil Newton allegedly said in phone conversations with 2 people who were recruiting on behalf of Mississippi State.
But even after that, Cam had one of the most dominant single seasons in college football history, capped with a national championship. I guess the point I'm trying to make is, every time people thought they had Cam Newton figured out, every time they tried to define him by his lowest point, he found a way to rise again. That's why it's so unfair to reduce his legacy to that fumble in Super Bowl 50. Yes, it was the moment of hesitation that was magnified on the biggest stage. But one play doesn't erase the joy he brought to the game, the barrier-breaking style he introduced, or the years of dominance he left behind. If anything, The fumble should be remembered as just another moment of adversity, one he faced like all the others. Because Cam's story wasn't about a single mistake. It was about refusing to let his mistake define him. To me, the real story isn't that Cam didn't jump on the ball. The real story is how quickly people forgot everything else he accomplished. Because if your entire legacy could be boiled down to one bad play, then maybe the problem isn't with the player. Maybe it's with the way we consume sports.
Nobody ever looked to Carolina as a team of dominance. And even when you look at Auburn, nobody ever looked at Auburn as a team of dominance. That's what I'm able to hang my hat on and say, like, yo, everywhere that I've been able to be the catalyst of the underdog. Nobody believed in us. Nobody thought that we could be 8-0, 10-0, 12-0, 14-0, and inevitably ending the season almost perfect in 15-1. Not a lot of teams have ever been 15-1. Yeah. Feel what I'm saying? And that's the thing that you have to take a step back and look at, okay. Yeah.
On the night I was born, the rain was pouring, God was crying, lightning struck, power outage, sparks was flying, the real one's here, the young boy that walked with lions around the outlines of chalk where the corpses lying, of course I'm trying.